This episode of the Secrets to Success podcast is brought to you by our very own grind gear, the gear that puts your grind in motion. Use the promo code S2S10 to save 10% on your next purchase. That's S, the number 2S, 10 to save 10% on your next purchase. Today's show is also brought to you by Organifi, the best tasting green blend on the market. They're cold processed, guys, to retain all of the nutrients. And if you're looking to fill all the nutritional gaps and buffer out that new stress that your body has to deal with on a daily basis, check out Organifi.com. That's ORGANIFI.com and use the promo code SUCCESS to save 20% on your order. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by the Bayesian sensation, Mr. Carl Wesley Phillips.
What's going on? What it do, y'all?
And Dr. Douglas Eric the Thurgood Thomas.
Thurgood.
What is going down, my brothers?
Blessed, man, blessed.
Somebody talk to me. You still in the A?
For a few. Headed
happy
to
birthday,
Syracuse.
man. Happy birthday. Let's get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? It's cue to Stevie Wonder. Happy birthday music. How you feeling, man? What you, 39, huh?
Yeah, strong.
Rounding out them 30s.
Strong
out them 30s.
Did you get a drink now that you're legal, E?
Yeah, tell us about it, man.
Let me tell you something. I drank a little water. I had the best birthday probably of my life. I stayed in my room the entire day. You know, it's been a long 32 days, 34 days for me. I probably worked harder in the month of August of 2018 than I've ever worked. So, yeah, man, I just, for the most part, I ain't gonna say the most part, the whole day. I just stayed in my room, watched a little tennis, caught some highlights of college football. I don't know if it's just me, but it just seemed like this year they pumped up. It's just football just got pumped up, college football like no other. So I caught a couple replays and yeah, literally just chilled out, slept a couple times. I woke up like, yo, was I that tired? So yeah, got some much needed rest.
Yeah, no doubt. And shout out to everybody for coming out to the Saving 7,000.
Yes.
That was dope, man. We definitely appreciate everyone coming out, opening the checkbooks, the wallets, and helping us with the Saving 7,000 campaign, man. And also celebrating E's birthday with the Chick-fil-A. Shout out to Chick-fil-A for sponsoring the event.
Shout out.
Bro, it was some extra chicken sandwiches. I had like 8 of them in the fridge.
Oh man!
I promise you popped them. That's how you know Chick-fil-A good. I popped it in the microwave the next day, and it was still good. Yeah. I was like, man. Yeah, I don't know if any other fast food place you could do that. Toss it in the next day.
Yeah, not the sandwich. Cool down. That's a wrap. Yeah.
Exactly. So, man. So anyway, Carl, what you were down here for like 30 seconds, and then you
30
left.
Quick ones.
Talk to us. How's Jordan still doing calculus?
Hey, no, I literally do. So I flew back from Atlanta Sunday morning. I'm talking about I got home. So I did Grand Rapids, East. So you know that's like a hop, skip, and a jump.
Way sweeter.
So I got home. My flight was what I left there like 10-something, 11. I got home 12:30. Drove down here. I ain't gonna lie, I sped a little bit. We got home, and my wife had plans up to Boyne Mountain Resorts, the water park up there. So I'm talking about got home, dropped stuff, grabbed swimming shorts, turned around, and drove right up there. Spent the holiday up there, man, and just had a blast with the family. I promise y'all, I just like, y'all didn't see me respond yesterday. I literally just looked at my phone. I was walking through the door. I had a chiropractor appointment. And I was like, oh, snap. I missed all the messages yesterday. I was like, oh, we doing the podcast like now. And I saw it like 9 o'clock. Y'all, you had texted like 8:30. I didn't even see that.
Oh, you didn't see it last night?
I ain't see nothing, bro, until just now. I called the chiropractor real quick, like, oh, my bad. I got something else to do. But yeah, no, man, we just had, I'm talking about a blast yesterday. Jordan is, you know it, I don't know how it worked, bro. They do not have an off button. My man was running from the time we got into the water park we got in there like 10, 11 o'clock that morning. We left there like 5, and my man was non-stop. I'm talking about non-stop, up, down. Jessie took a moment. She like, look, I'm sleepy. She would have napped for 30, but he was just going, man. And, you know, we just had a blast as a family, man. Just some good times. Bunch of photos. Just enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, hopefully everybody had a good holiday weekend, man. It was definitely turned up over here for at least a couple days. We had the Downs family in town, so that was dope. And then, of course, Josh and Jamal's squads were down here as well, man. So, you know, barbecue, turn up, you know, nothing crazy. But, man, let me tell you something. We had, of course, you know, everybody was in the pool. And Trey is almost Michael Phelps in that joint right now.
He ready? Is he ready?
Bro, it's crazy. Like, you know what's so funny about it, though? I told y'all back last time on the podcast, like, I was tripping a little bit when, you know, my man was so aggressive with him. I'm like, yo, he's 4. Like, chill out. And I promise you, this, you know, no joke. When I tell you he's swimming the length of the pool, like, no problem. I'm talking about swimming the length of the pool and back. And
is it like a month?
I think it's 4 sessions, maybe 5.
Wow.
I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But no more than 5 sessions, he's swimming all the way to the deep end, all the way back, no floaties ever. He like floating on his back. He like spinning underwater, the whole thing. And you know what's crazy? I was sitting there and I was like, yo, this is like a little microcosm of life for real. Because I swear, I did not like the fact that my man was going in. But everything that you want for yourself, or, you know what I'm saying, that feels good ain't necessarily always good. And so it was funny because, you know, Candace and I were out of town for some of the, you know, last week or whatever. And my mom was there and she was like, oh, I had to go in the house. Like, I couldn't even watch him talk to him like that. And he was being way too aggressive and this and that. And I'm like, yo, it works. And then I thought about human beings and I'm like, yo, we are so like risk averse when it comes to like our feelings and things like that. But I'm like, man, sometimes that's the thing that's going to take you over the edge. Like, I was 2 seconds from telling my man, like, yo, quit hollering at my son like that. You know what I mean? And then like bring somebody in here who was going to make him feel good and he'd be stuck on the side of the pool. Or I could bring somebody in who's going to let him know what's up. And now he's swimming back and forth in the pool. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, knock on wood, of course, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we got a pool in the backyard. Like, I've never had a pool. I didn't grow up with a pool in the house. Like, I worry about my kids being able to swim. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go out the door, like, yo, that is so funny because I asked somebody, you know, who was like a certified swim instructor, whatever. And I was like, man, should we put a gate up? Should we put a fence? Should we put this, that, this? And they were like, yo, you want to know the best way to do it? Teach your kids how to swim, doggone it. Like, they need to know how to swim. And so now Avery's doing well. Trey's swimming back and forth. I mean, Carl, you were over here when we first got the house. He was barely even, like, he wouldn't even let me go in the water. Bruh, he jumping off the ledge, cannonballing, swimming to the side. Like, I'm talking about no problem in 4 or 5 lessons. And I'm like, wow, like, yo, you so protective of not only his feelings, but your feelings. Because let's be real, when my man was going in on him, it wasn't even really about Trey. It was about me. Like, hold up, bro, I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my son. Like, you got me feeling some kind of way. And E, for 1 second, I started to be like, yo, chill out. You know what I'm saying? You could leave. You can keep your money, get up out my pool. And, you know, like I said, something told me, like, nah, see, like, yo, he the expert. Let him do what he's got to do. And now I swear, like, yo, to watch Trey go to that next level. And then I was just thinking about humans, Carl, and I'm like, yo, we get information, right? We get information, and if it's not in the way we want to receive it, if it's not in the time span that we want to receive it, if it doesn't feel as good as we hoped it did, we just shut it down and go, nope, it's not for me because they're not telling me the way I want to tell. You know what I mean? So I don't know if y'all got Carl add anything to that, but I'm looking at this whole situation with Trey, and I gotta, maybe we'll post a video. But my man goes in, like, everybody, I sent it to the group check, everybody gets weak, but my man is like, I mean, he like a big dude and like he got a loud voice and he goes in. But at the same time, sometimes don't we need that tough love? Sometimes don't we need to be pushed? And how come people don't want to be pushed even if it's good for them?
Hey, I'm going to say it like this, see, and not to be funny, but my wife, my niece both grew up in Barbados and can't swim. And here's the kicker for me, that what I'm hearing out of the whole thing. You doing it with Trev. What's Trev, 4 or 5? He's 4, right?
4, yeah.
Trev, 4 years old. You're doing it at 4 years old. I'm telling you, we up the water park yesterday. My niece is asking me how to swim. And I'm telling her, bro, swimming is not deep. The instructions are not deep at all. This is how you move your hands. This is how you move your feet. But if you don't get it at 4, now you 21. My niece 21. My wife is 38. And it's so much harder like you just said, the information ain't deep, bro. The information is this simple, but because you didn't take the time or, you weren't in a position to absorb it or whatever, the process, whatever it is, because you didn't get to do it then, now you may never get it. Or it's that much more difficult 10 years, 20 years later, because you didn't deal with it head on when you were that young. So that's what I'm hearing out of this. Like, you're talking about 4 sessions. I got people 30 plus years old still struggling with the same challenge. And I ain't talking about swimming. It's the same challenge you're struggling with 30 years later because you just didn't deal with it head on in an aggressive manner. That's the key. Like what C said, in an aggressive manner, just get it out. Now you stuck with these problems that you might pass on to your kids and the kids, grandkids, because you didn't deal with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and think about it, just our whole lives, Carl. You get a professor that's known for being hard. What do you do? You try to drop the class.
Let me get somebody else.
Saying? Like, you get a coach who, push you too hard. You're like, yo, I'm about to quit the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's good for you or not. And I'm saying, how do we get to that point where we receive information and apply information, even if it's not from the exact same source that we want, right? Like, you don't always have to have, like, you grown now, doggone it. Like, we don't have to put the medicine in the applesauce. And I think some people, like, even as a grown person, you still looking for somebody to give it to you in a way that feels so good to you because you're so soft and your feelings get hurt so bad. And so talk about that from a feelings versus principle standpoint, and also from a standpoint of you push pretty hard as, a speaker, as a motivator, as, a shepherd, if you will. You push hard. How do you find that balance between pushing hard and taking people to that next level and hoping they don't shut down and cry it out and turn into a puddle on the floor?
Yeah, I'll be real, man. I'm at a point in my life where I don't know, bro. I'm just gonna be real. Like, I don't want to be fake, but I just feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm giving out the information, and it's just a group, and it's nothing against them, but they just not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at people who, receive information a little better. And I think, and they didn't have nothing to do with it, but it's like you grew up in an environment, I hear you talk about an adult. What's an adult, bruh? Like, an adult is only is age, but if you grew up and everything around you was soft, when you become 30, 32, 40, and nothing changes. You're just getting older. You're the same individual. And so for a lot of people, it's not to their discredit.
Say that again. I want to make sure people catch that because you went over that pretty quick. You saying that as an 18, 19-year-old at 41, you're saying if you don't do any work on yourself.
You're the same person. Yeah, you're the same person. You're not, and I think let me not.
But you're not the same person you were at that age.
Well, I'm not the same person because I'm about professional development.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every day I wake up. Every day I wake up, I'm like, yo, E, you need to get better, bro, or be extinct or die. You know what I'm saying? We don't live in a society where because I was one of the best motivational speakers 6 years ago that I'm just gonna wake up and automatically, and I said it the other day, my wife is not going to be pleased with the stuff that we was doing, the coaching call on Sunday, coaching with ET. My wife ain't gonna be pleased with the stuff I bought her. I bought her Coach when I was 15, 16. She don't still want Coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, you got to get better. And I just think for a lot of people, and again, this is not to your discredit, and it doesn't make you a bad person. You're just going to have to decide, what you want your future to be. But if you've grown up in environments where, like I said, like, I see it every day, bro. I was with somebody recently and, their kid was jumping on tables and throwing stuff at them and telling them no. And I'm like, yo, we just in a society where I used to think it was.
I apologize.
I'm being real. I'm being real, bro. And I get it. Like, for real, I'm not judging nobody. I get it. Like, I think what happened, was, generations ago, our parents, because the stakes were so high, like you look at an Emmett Till situation,
no
and
doubt.
you got to understand that's what my grandma was on that. Like my grandma was alive during that, and so it's like you do something inappropriate, you could lose your life. So for my grandma and my mom watching my grandma, they're on that. You run out in the street, you get hit. Like that's what they was on, and so I get it. This generation is like y'all was over the top. You feel me? But I'm literally looking at kids like. It's like, yo, you controlling your, like, it's like you controlling your parent. Like, this ain't, it's not even a point where it's like, you don't want to hurt their feelings no more. It's like, they saying, no, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And so our children in this society, like, the further we get away from, my grandma them era, it's a thing of, you don't want your kid to be uncomfortable. You don't want them to get hurt. You don't want them to, and so then people grow up like that. And I've seen it where you might have, in one house, you might have had one child that people revered and they gave them, the hookup. And then the other child, they might have been a little bit more tougher on. And then when they grow up, you see that one person who just spoiled, they can't get out of a plastic bag. But then that other kid is able to get out of that plastic bag. Why? Because they weren't spoiled like the other one was. Like they weren't whatever. So for me, I just feel like I'm giving out the information, and those people who have been raised, if you will, by people who were stern, like my mom, I told y'all, my mom wasn't on that. Oh, the teacher, Eric couldn't have done wrong in the classroom. My mom was just like, yo, I know my son, my man in there clowning. Let me come up there and handle my business. When I got caught stealing from the mall and the police came to the house, my mom wasn't, oh no, that's my son. And I just find, and again, hear what I'm saying, guys. People who spoil people when they young, they do it when they old. Like I told a story, about D coming to me like, yo, your sermons is whack. Like you ain't been reading, have you? And I'm like, no, not really. She's like, yeah, I could tell. And some people would be like, yo, that's disrespectful. But you got other people who, like, they can't do no wrong. They spouse ain't gonna never say none of them. They mom ain't gonna never say none of them. They daddy ain't gonna never say none of them. And like you said, that's a good place to be in. Like, you never get challenged. That's a wonderful place, bro. That feel ultra good. I'm sure, I'm sure you feeling like on cloud 9 on a rig. But in terms of your development, I spoke recently and Tum Tum was like, yo, E, I ain't never heard you come like that before. And then Didi came up to me and was like, oh, I could tell you reading again. So do I want my wife to come to me and challenge me on my profession? Absolutely not. But I'm going to stay one of the top motivational speakers in the world if I have people in my life who are not afraid to challenge me, and push me. So I don't know how to answer your question, but I just feel like people who grew up with parents who don't want to chastise them, they grow up, what's the word I'm looking for? They grew up like almost resisting people who are in their lives who push them because that's not what they used to. That's not what they're accustomed to. So I think,
in some of that conflict or those feelings, like it was funny because I'm sure you've heard, he's probably said it on the podcast before, but I know you say it sometimes when we're speaking, but like we would get into it. Like back in the day, everybody always looks at what we got on now. I wish we had a camera on some of these conversations back in the day. E and I would be at each other's neck. I'm talking about like not cussing because E don't cuss. And I try not to cuss when I'm with E. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, we would get into it. And then it'd be like over with. We'd be like, all right, we'll kind of come to some type of resolution. But, we were still like, all right, there's a little tension in the room. And I'd be like, all right, cool, man, give me a hug. Let's go eat. You know what I'm saying? He used to be looking like, yo, what? Like, yo, get away from me. I'm like, dog, how long you gonna be mad about this? Like, yo, that was like 2 hours ago. And so I think like our ability to handle conflict or things that hurt our feelings, but still understand that it's best for us. And it's crazy because like, it's the same thing with like everything we do, right? Because we know like we have the information, yet we're unable to apply it for some reason, right? Because maybe the reason is that it doesn't feel good to us. So for instance, my neighbors were over here. They came by for the barbecue, right? My neighbors you saw my neighbor, my man about 6'5", maybe about 275, Carl, of like, oh, you saw him too, Carl.
Yeah,
didn't
I saw
you?
him. Yep.
I'm talking about pure, my man looked like Incredible Hulk, right? Of course, him and his wife are both trainers. My man, I'm talking about Diesel, like you wouldn't believe, and his wife. And they were over here the other day during the barbecue. Of course, you know, they come over, they looking like that. Everybody like, oh my God, what do you do? How do you do it? And my man was like, yo, we do all our meal prep on Sunday. So for the whole week, he cooked like 20 pounds of chicken and I don't even know, bro. Just crazy. He's like, I eat 6 times a day, this. And my man laying this whole strategy out to a whole room full of chunky people. And I'm sitting here looking like, hey, man, one of y'all about to apply none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wasting my man time, including myself. Hello, I'm not even trying to throw nobody under the bus. I'm not getting ready to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not at this point in my life. But I'm sitting here like, wow, my man is literally giving you the blueprint to how to get your life right. My man like, yo, I'm talking about, he tell you the ounces of chicken he's eating. I eat 8 ounces of chicken. At this time, 8 ounces he's like for the whole week. So I had no guesswork. So you know you should be meal prepping, right? 9 times out of 10, when I'm eating bad, like when I'm just eating some bull crap, it's because I haven't thought it out, right? Like I just wake up, kids running around everywhere. Oh, shoot, we got to go here. I got to run here. Then I got another errand to run. And then I'm by, you know what I'm saying, Chick-fil-A. I'm smashing the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken, the fries, a little drink to go with it. If I meal prepped, I would probably be in a way sweeter position. But for whatever reason, I'm unwilling to take that information and apply it because it doesn't feel good, because I don't want to know that I have to eat a chicken salad on Thursday at 1 p.m. on Sunday night. I don't got nothing to look forward to. You feel me? So even when we have the information, we still don't apply it or still are unwilling to apply it if it doesn't feel good to us. And so it's just crazy to watch.
Yeah.
And
I won't even go past that. So I want to go with some of it. Like I said, it's programmed. So if you are a child and every time you fall, your parents stop you from falling, or every time you get in a situation, they save you from that situation. You don't even know that you're being saved from it. It just becomes the norm. Like, oh, I'm not supposed to fall. Apparently, I ain't supposed to fall because every time I'm about to fall, my parents save me. So apparently, falling ain't good. You feel me? So it ain't even something that you know what I'm saying? It's not even something that you consciously are aware of. It's like you program to think, oh, okay, every time I get in a situation where, let's just say, I'm at the spot, like in Avery. I notice Avery will be, I'm talking about trying to bust Trey upside the head, right? And you say, hey, don't, Trey, don't hit her back. You know what I'm saying? So you're teaching Trey, and I know what you're trying to do. You're like, yo, don't hit girls. Like, that's what you're trying to teach my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hit girls. But in his mind, we don't know what he, like, we really don't know.
In the middle of the jet bridge.
Yeah, you feel me? Like, we don't know what he's thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it took me a quick second.
Or wrestle him to the ground for an SMU women's basketball.
Oh, I'm talking about she be on his head. So I'm saying you don't know. You know what you're trying to teach him. We don't know everything that he's getting. And I'm laughing because, and not like laughing like it's funny, but I think about one of my little cousins that my auntie did that to. And my man grew up and for real got an abusive relationship. His girl was laying hands on him. And I used to be like, bruh, my man was like, he could fight. But I remember when we would be around each other, his brother would always fight me and like seriously. But my older cousin, like he wasn't into that. He was always protecting us, whatever. But then when he got married, he ended up getting into an abusive relationship where his girl's laying hand on him and he big. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't no little fella. But it's because some kind of way when that was happening when he was younger, he was getting taught, whatever. So I'm saying even when C was like, me and him would get into it. I wasn't even like conscious of, okay, we just got into it. Okay, I wasn't conscious of it. I just know that my greatest relationship in my life was my mom. So my mom would do it. Why? Because my mom and her sisters did it. Why? Yeah. Because my mom and my grandma did it. You know what I'm saying? So I went months without talking to my mom. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but C ain't my mom. So if I'm not going to talk to my mom after a heated argument, I'm just doing to CJ what I grew up doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we get into it. Me and my mom ain't talking for a couple of weeks. We've gone months without talking. So for me, that's just the norm. Like, yo, when it escalate and get to this point, I'm not talking no more. Why? Not because I don't love you. I don't know what to talk about. You feel me? Like, I don't know what to say. So my daughter was saying to me yesterday, you seem like you had an attitude. I was like, I ain't got no attitude. But when I'm passionate, you say, you getting too loud, you whatever. So I don't know what to say to you because I don't know how to talk to you without being passionate. So I'm in a quandary. I don't want to talk to you loud and then you pissed and then now we got bad memories. So I don't say nothing to you. And then if I don't say nothing to you, then you like, you got an attitude.
I got an attitude.
So for me, so with me, with C, it was just like, yo, I don't know what to say at this point because whatever I say at this point, I can't necessarily go from 6 to 1. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have that skill set. So when C said to me, "Yo, E, just because we don't agree, it don't mean we don't got to talk." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So what does that look like though? Because I don't know what that looks like. You feel me? Like, you gotta show me what that looks like. So what do we do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we do? And so C had to say, we could do this, we could do this, we could do that. And I'm not gonna lie. I got to a point eventually where I could do it, but I swear to you, the first time he told me, I wasn't like, oh, that's how you do it. It might have taken 6 months. It might have taken 7 months. So what I'm saying to those of you who don't like to hear information, like, you have to hear information, the truth. And look, I'm telling y'all this because I want to help you. I don't know, though. My wife is a full-blown gorilla. My mom, when I grew up, my mom gonna say whatever she want to say, how she want to say it. So I didn't really grow up with the soft, like, I don't have nobody in my house that's laid back and sensitive. Like, I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up around sensitive people. They didn't really care about your feelings. So I can't intelligently speak to you, those of you who've had people who are kind of laid back and, mellow, they mellow. I don't know that, but I am saying this to you dealing with C. Yeah, melancholy, I guess. But I will say what happened with me and C was, I did say to myself, oh, there's another way? Oh, okay. Can you explain to me what that other way is? Oh, so I would say to you guys who have to get it a certain way, ask yourself, oh, is there another way to receive information? And is that way better? Is that way going to give me better results than the way I'm getting it right now and what I'm doing? Am I getting the outcomes I want? If I'm not getting the outcomes I want, then how do I go about taking this harsh way?
And I honestly think that, and I said it before, but it's a direct, result for me of having a great relationship with my father, right? Like, my dad I wouldn't say he was tough on us by any means, like, not in that kind of way. I didn't have that dad that was like whoop your butt at the drop of a dime, like, at all. But when you got out of line, you were going to catch that wood. So, but there was a balance of love and correction, right? So, like, my dad would whoop us and you would be crying for a couple minutes. By the time you came back downstairs, he was like, all right, cool, I cooked y'all dinner and we got to go to practice and, you know what I'm saying, we get some ice cream after practice. And so it was like, okay, like, conflict ain't like deadly to a relationship. Like, I never saw that. And so to E's point, we all get programmed, right? So somebody out there, E, who's listening, they've been programmed a certain way to receive information a certain way, so they're not able to apply that information to get to that next level in their job or lose that weight or get over that depression or whatever, because they're not hearing the information. But, like, it's so crazy, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because if you think about it, if you can only receive information one tiny little way, the chances of you getting that perfect information on the perfect day from the perfect source and all, like, you've limited yourself so much. And most people get stuck, not because they can't get the information, but they can't get it the way they want it and they can't apply it. So what do you say to somebody who grew up a certain way where they don't process information like that? And they've been taught, that if it comes like this, then disregard it and it's not true. And they're stuck forever waiting on that, like, one golden silver nugget lining that's going to come through and change their life. How did you reprogram yourself to say, okay, cool, I can have an argument with C and we can go to lunch an hour later. Me and D could get into it and I could be straight 10 minutes later, as opposed to we got 4 or 5 days worth of beef going on. Like, how do you change the way in which you receive information and your willingness to apply that information and make your life better?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know that I'm ever willing to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's a good word. I'm ever willing to. I would say to you guys that
no doubt.
It has to be what you're asking me to do has to prove to me that it's going to get me the outcomes I want. and it's gonna help me to be better than where I am. So when you talk about meal prepping, bro, I'm just gonna be real with you. I would never meal prep. Like, you can't convince me to eat the same thing every day to look a certain way physical. Yeah, I'm just saying. Right. You can't convince me to eat a certain kind of way to look a certain kind of way. I don't value it. Like, I don't look at I don't look at somebody who is like, you know, a certain physical structure. Like, I don't look at that. Yeah, I don't look at a six-pack and go, whoa. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a six-pack. I'm saying I don't. Now, I might look at a Mother Teresa. I do, and I
still don't. You feel me?
Yeah. But I'm saying, I'm being real.
Still ain't willing to do it, but it is impressive.
Yeah, I'm being real. There's no human that looks at something as seriously as impressive and doesn't change. Like, you might look at something and admire it, but if you really wanted it, we humans. If you really wanted it as a human, you had the capacity to go get it. So when somebody say they want to be a millionaire, I caution you. Do you want what somebody else has, or do you really want to be a millionaire? Like, or do you see somebody and you like, yo, I like see life, but like, you ain't really trying to do that though. You feel me? Like, it does look cute to you, like, oh, I like that, but you ain't trying to do it. Whereas there's things that we see and we can't go to, like, you can't rest without it. You feel me? Like, you will see certain things and you'll be like, yo, I gotta live that life, or I gotta have that shirt. Where you get that from? And so for me, with my relationship, I really enjoyed, you know, when me and Didi are, marital bliss, or when me and C were on one accord, the things that it would produce, I really loved that. And when we didn't, me and Didi weren't talking, or me and C, or I shouldn't say me and C, I wasn't willing to, you know, not do whatever. I didn't like that feeling as much as I liked the feeling when we was on one accord. You feel me? So then I had to say to myself,
or the results,
okay,
both.
I didn't like the results. So I was like, yo, I got to make some changes. Where, like I said, when it comes to my body shape, bro, as long as I'm a certain weight, as long as my gut ain't sticking out, I like to eat for taste. You know what I'm saying? And I may not, this last week, you know, I didn't really eat a lot because I wasn't, you know, emotionally where I wanted to be. I didn't really feel like I didn't have the energy to exercise, some other stuff going on in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to lie. I'm in Atlanta. I didn't eat nothing but an egg sandwich. Like, so I wasn't smashing. I didn't have no cake for my birthday. I didn't eat no ice cream. You know, so I don't want a lot of y'all to make y'all feel like, okay, he don't have no discipline, because I do. But if I'm working out and I'm handling my business, I'm running, I'm walking, I'm not about to sit down and eat no same piece of chicken every day, and broccoli. Like, that's just not my swag. I would rather not have the body now. But when it comes to spiritual, I'm not going to make no sacrifices on the spiritual boy, because there are times where somebody might have cancer and I need to pray for them, and I need to be able to pray in power. Or I might ask God for it to stop raining because we have a program. So I'm not willing to compromise that. But when it comes to eating chicken and broccoli every day, that's not something I'm going to get down with. So to C's point, to me, you only change when you really feel like this is life or death. So for those of you who can't take information.
Got people who so you got people who seriously obese and they know it's life or death. And they, you know what I'm saying? So for us, maybe not,
what
right?
Does that
because
mean,
of where we are in our weight or whatever, in our health, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Everybody could be, you know what I'm saying, one doctor visit away from whatever. But I'm saying somebody who's obese, you saying they don't want to lose that weight?
Bruh. They don't, bruh. They don't. And here's what I mean by it.
I don't know.
They would have lost. I know people, bruh, who went to the hospital like multiple times because they were obese, had to have surgery, had to whatever.
And
they still cooking fried chicken.
They wanted to go through all of that?
Oh yeah, no. When you say want to go through it, what do you mean when you say that?
Well, I'm saying obviously, if you're going through surgeries, you're going through the hell, the pain, the embarrassment, your body hurt, you don't want to go out in public, all of that. They don't want that. They want to be thin. They want to be healthy, right?
No,
and so in that situation, what are you saying?
Here's what I'm telling you. You can't want both things with the greatest level. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, you might want to live, but you might want fried chicken and macaroni and cheese more than you want to live. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because you got an option. And the option is I can stop eating like this and live. Or it's, I do want to see my family and I do want to, but I can't stop eating macaroni and cheese. I can't stop eating fried foods. I can't stop eating it. Bruh, it is what it is. And so that's all I'm saying is that we always change when we really want to change. When we don't want to change.
Go ahead, you finish it. No, go ahead. Finish
That's it.
I was just going to say, so is it as simple, because I don't want to make it real, I'm really trying to hear what you're saying. So all you're telling me is it's a bottom line, just a decision I got to make. And I don't want to oversimplify, but that's all it is. It's I got to decide if I'm going here or if I'm going here. That's what you're saying to me.
It's a decision. And I don't want to simplify it to you know what I'm saying? Decision,
right. Not to nullify. Right.
No, I know what you're trying to say. And you're right, because sometimes it take a life-altering event. Think about it right now. It might be somebody who semi-obese, whatever, they, doing their thing, and they had a heart attack today. Tomorrow they on the treadmill. Tomorrow they eat broccoli and salad. And, I saw having, one of my closer friends who had a heart attack, smoking cigarettes the whole night. I'm talking about heart attack, ain't seen a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you had to get that wake-up call, and it's crazy because, I'm trying to live my life ahead of the wake-up call, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I ain't perfect, but I'm like, okay, don't get the call for diabetes before you try to work out. Don't try to get the call saying you about to have a stroke or your blood pressure too high. You know what I'm saying? Get on top of it as much as possible. However, there are those life-changing events, Ian. Do you think that some people just have to hit that wall in order to make a change? Or do you think that people can make that change without that necessarily
you could do it without the wall.
Event?
Yeah, you could do it without. Why? Because the wall didn't make you change. It's your perception of the wall that made you change. You feel me? So
I missed that. Hold on, go back.
Yeah. Slow down with that.
So I get up every day and say, I'm on the road, bro. I'm all over the place. My wife could eat. Although our marriage is phenomenal, it is also the most vulnerable it's ever been before. You feel what I'm saying? We flirting with divorce, and I say that because the more successful you are, our children are grown and their needs are different. Bruh, we are a week away from me putting too much time. I'm on the phone too much. I got too many doggone calls. ETA, BU, coaches call, EBB. You know what I'm saying? I got so many calls. I got so many opportunities. I got to say no to opportunity. I could be working. Being one of the top motivational speakers in the world, I could be going all the time, and my wife's sitting in a hotel by herself. That she's susceptible to she has needs. And so it's like my man going 24/7. So the balance is out of this world. You feel me? So I have to wake up every day and not wait for Didi to go, I'm with somebody else, or somebody else is trying to get him out. Bro, I got to wake up every day and not wait for something to happen. I got to wake up every day and say yo, E, today is the day that somebody can come in and just take your relationship from you because you doggone too busy. You ain't got time for your wife, whatever. She retired. You ain't retired. You still working. So I got to wake up every day and create that. So you can either create it, because it's real. Somebody, you just making up stuff. I'm not making up stuff. I can give you a million examples of men or women who were successful in their career, and their successful career cost them their marriage, or their successful career cost them their relationship with their kids, or their successful career cost them their lives. So I wake up every day looking at the reality.
Can't your broke career also cost you your marriage?
Absolutely, all of it. I'm saying all of it. That's just say my reality.
Is mediocrity, y'all.
I'm just saying,
don't get too high.
I'm just saying that's not my reality right now. But
you know what I'm saying? Do not go too high. Hey, no wonder me and Carl so sweet in our marriages right now.
That's what it is, yeah.
You feel me? Hey, it's whatever. Is the key to a happy marriage. You ain't at the Motel 6, but you ain't at the Ritz.
Hey, my insider can't steal my girl. I'm great. I ain't got no insider.
He can't. I promise. So I'm just saying.
Right.
There are people who wake up.
Rich people.
They wake up like that. Yeah, there are people who wake up like that, who wait until something happens before they wait for their girl to get pissed, or they wait for their girl to have to call and say, I can't take this no more before they change their marriage. So you feel me? So
it go back to your nightmare. See, remember the story you used to tell, the nightmare. And what so I'll give y'all, so I'm driving today, we're taking Jordan to school. And literally, this the news thing that come on. It says a 37-year-old professor at MSU lost his life yesterday in an accident on the 127. I told y'all I went north yesterday on the 127, coming back home on the 127. 37-year-old, Tamisha's 38. 37-year-old professor at MSU died in a car accident yesterday. Bro, that had nothing to do with me, but it had everything to do with me. I made that sucker up so real. Like, yo, we were on the exact same highway yesterday. My wife is teaching at MSU. She's a professor. She's a year different. Like, yo, that could easily be, my wife. So I'm not going to I'm going to make that story real for me. Like, yo, this could happen. So I heard that, and that was like the jolt. So what I'm trying to tell people is, yo, find whatever jolt you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, take it from anything, doggone it. You look around and a flower look like it's about to die. Shoot, this could be my relationship. Shoot, this could be, whatever. Like, take whatever you need to give you the jolt. Because I guarantee y'all today's going to be a little different than if I had not heard that. If
Somebody help me with the quote, though. A wise man or something. A smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others or something like that. Yeah. But no, you're 100% right. Like, that is the formula. Can we learn from others? And I think, man, that's the one thing that I think can be so frustrating with like parenting, right? Because like you literally want to take it to the next level, and it's like you tell your kids like, all right, cool, that stove hot, that fire burn. Your kids still be like, hold on, let me check that. And you're like, I just doggone told you. The other thing, as we kind of close up this particular conversation, the other thing that'll drive you nuts, and this may be a whole nother podcast, is for those of you out there who don't not want to receive the information because you're sensitive or anything else, but because you already know everything. And that is the other person who is going to, really struggle to grow, is the person who just knows everything. Like, you ever run into that person, like you say anything and they know more about it than you, they know, what I mean? You're not even trying to go there with them, but it's just like, you could be like, yo, it was outside, my grass was, wasn't growing the way it should because it ain't been raining. And they're like, well, actually, if you put your sprinkler on, it's like, dog, you just doing too much. Like, that person right there probably drive me more crazy than anybody, is Mr. Me Too and Mr. Know-It-All. And so any advice for the people, and I guess, just because for real, one of our superpowers is just the fact that we didn't know nothing, and we were perfectly fine with the fact that we didn't know nothing, and we tried to do everything we could to try to figure it out. And so we became very coachable and teachable, and I really realized that most people are not coachable. Like, y'all watched Jamal and his keynote from the time he started to what he did in San Francisco, right? And Maul, like, I'm talking about, y'all, if you just saw his keynote in San Francisco, it was insane. And his growth has been so crazy. And we were talking about it the other day. And I was just like, yo, you're coachable. Like, Maul literally applied everything I said to apply. He can apply it and he can put it right in there, and boom, his keynote went to another level because of it. But so many people are just not coachable. And he was like, shoot, you got to think. He was like, I was a football captain. I was captain of the team. Like, coach gave the directions and it was my job to go implement it. So I'm used to that. And so many people I really feel like are not coachable, not because they don't want to hear the information like we talked about the other people, but because they already have all the information they think they need, and that person struggles to grow too. So I don't know if anybody else got that.
Yeah, well, so again, guys, I might be going too deep, but I want to help somebody out there that's listening. You feel like you got to have home court advantage, and I promise you, I do get it. I do understand it. Let me just be, transparent with, my situation. You feel like sometimes, if my wife had her way, and we talked about this last night, because she was just like, yo, I'm antisocial. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm at a point where I just want to be with you, or I want to be with my kids. Like, I don't know what's happening to me. I need to take medicine. So we're married on two different extremes. You got one person that is an only child. Like, she did not grow up with siblings. She grew up, it's just her and her mom in the crib by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Of course, she got cousins. She's very close to her cousins. But outside of that, Didi don't necessarily have, like, high school, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got tattoos and they was in a little fraternity, a little gang. Didi don't have that. So you're looking at extreme of somebody who is totally antisocial. You look at somebody like me who is, I'm talking about
antisocial.
I'm talking about anti, right? So what happens if you're not careful, and listen to me, I know people why you struggle. What happens is if you listen to people too much, you're gonna be something that you don't want to be. You feel me? You run that risk of, okay, you make your wife happy, but you not happy. Or my wife is like, okay, E, like Didi will come to events with me and she'll do her thing, but that ain't her thing. You know, so it's like you trying to find that balance of, yes, I want to take information from this person. I want to take information from this person. And I want to take information from this person. But at what cost that I'm not even me no more? You feel me? So a lot of you, that's what you want. But here's what I can tell you. Like, yo, you could take information without, you could take it without like taking it personal or taking all of it. Just because somebody tell you something, it doesn't mean that you have to do exactly what they tell you to do. You know, like you can really listen to what they're saying and say, oh, okay, you saying I should invest in stock exchange. Like, yo, you ain't got to necessarily do the stock market because they doing the stock market. But what you don't want to miss is the opportunity to understand the importance of investing. Mm-hmm. Like, you keep your money in the bank, it ain't going to do nothing for you. So for you, because you're so scared, like, okay, this person tell me this, this person tell me this, this person tell me this, this person tell me this. Like, at some point, all this information, I'm not even going to know who I am. You could take the information, sit down with the information, and I can go, you know what? Didi is right. I could be on the phone all doggone day. It don't stop. I could be on the phone ministering to people every single day. And if I lose my wife, they not going to trip. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want to be in the house, you know what I'm saying, just chilling like when we went to the cruise. Of course, Didi wasn't feeling no cruise. Bro, you got people all on the boat. You going to walk, people going to see you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so we had to sit down just as a couple and say, all right, let's compromise. All right, we're going to do dinner in the room, so that the two of us can talk without being disturbed. But then we're going to do lunch on the Lido deck, and then you know what I'm saying? So I do know that some of you, you're not strong enough that when you get information, you feel bullied, you feel like people just bombarding you, and so you want to act like, look, don't tell me nothing, I don't need to know nothing, and I feel you, but I am saying the beauty of when you're with a multitude of people who have counsel, it don't mean that you have to do everything they're telling you to do, but you need the counsel, and then you take the counsel and you use it how it's going to best fit you. But that whole, like C said, that whole, you know, you just know everything and you don't want to be told nothing. Yeah, there's a way to protect yourself. Still getting the information, but still being able to protect yourself.
Alrighty. I want to
see. I had something real quick though.
Oh, go for it.
Real quick. So I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, man, and they were going through some stuff in their marriage, and they said to me in frustration, E, I've done everything I could do. You know, and I really do want to speak to that person. And maybe you have. Like I said, I ain't judging nobody. Like, I'm not in your life. I can't tell you that you shouldn't keep trying. Like, pull the quarterback. You've done everything you can. But I do want you to be careful. I want you to get to a point when you feel like you've done everything you could possibly do. I want you to reach out to somebody, because the only challenge I had with this individual is that they told me they did everything they could do, but you never called me. Like, we never had no conversation. You never talked to nobody. You kind of just got to a place in yourself where you was frustrated and was like, I did everything I could do, and you threw your hands up, right? So I want to caution you, because I think sometimes the answer to your solution to your challenge is on the other side of one more cracks at I've done everything I could possibly do. Like, I really believe that. I think you like one or two more cracks at it, and then boom, because I feel like if you put 95% into something and it didn't change, you probably don't want to quit because you've invested too much, right? So I'm gonna give y'all a real practical situation. So one of the things that I've noticed, like Didi said, like, yo, you're a flamingo, and you don't want to you know what I'm saying? You don't want to overcommit, you know what I'm saying? And then you can't do what you said you're going to do, because then that's going to make you look bad. And the way your character is set up, you actually shine based on your credibility. Like, that's the kind of life you have, your credibility. So like, some people, they don't got to have no credibility. They can sleep around. They can do whatever. Like, that, their profession doesn't require them to have credibility. Yours does. So you got to be cautious about, you know, whatever. So I made a couple commitments. I told some people I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, right? And I was just like, okay, E, how do you do this? Because they hit me up, was like, yo, I'm ready to talk. And I'm like, unfortunately, sometimes when you're ready to talk, I'm on a podcast, I'm on a flight, I'm on a whatever. And I had got to that point where it was like, I felt my wife, like, look, just don't say you could do it. And I was like, yo, that's easy for you to say. You feel me? Like, that's easy for you to say. Like, you don't necessarily have to meet the needs of 20 people a day. That's not your swag. You feel me? But that's what God put me on this earth to do. And I remember when I was young in the game and I might have had a Dennis Kimbrough speak life into me, or I might have had a Joseph Lowry speak life into me. That changed my life. So I was like, yo, there are kids out here or people out here, they just need that energy from me and then they're going to take off. And so, but I was like, yo, my girl, right. Like, it's only 24 hours in a day. I can't necessarily get to you when you get. And so somebody hit me today and I was like, okay, E, you can fix this. Like, think it through. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it, but think it through. And then it hit me like, yo, my new thing now is the voice memo. It's like, yo, do me a favor. I can't necessarily be there when you call, but go ahead and put whatever your challenge or your concern is, put it on voice memo. You shoot me the voice memo, and I promise you, I'm not gonna tell you 2 hours from now, but like sometimes when I'm on a plane, I'm on a plane for 4 hours. And I can't talk on the phone, but that's some real good time while Diddy watching a movie, I can answer. So I told that person, like, yo, give me a voice memo and I'll give you a voice memo back. Now, me and you talking, I may not be able to do that. And sometimes even when we on the phone talking, people wasting time. You know what I'm saying? But just give me your voice memo. Tell me what you want. I think we had one young lady me and Carl was working with who was having some challenges. And I promise you, we voice memoed that way through. You know what I'm saying? She sent me something. This is what I'm going through. Here, the challenge that I'm having, you know, and then I sent her something. Then she sent me something and I sent her something and we good now. So I'm just trying to show y'all a practical example in my life where it's like, nope, I can't necessarily talk on the phone. You know, because my girl, like, yo, we together right now, like our time. But I'm like on the plane, she watching a movie. I can easily just hit a quick voice, whatever, get off the plane, send that to you, go back and forth. So for those of you out there who feel like, yo, I'm frustrated, I've did everything I could possibly do. I'm just saying, don't waste how many months have you been trying? Like, how many cracks at it you take? Like, if I was you, I just wouldn't let the person who just quit. But you didn't put 85% of the work in and you only got 15% left. I just wouldn't throw the towel in like that and waste all of that equity, all that sweat equity, all that time, all that energy. If I were you, I'd pick up the phone and call somebody and I would find a way to say, no, this ain't it. It ain't over. Like, I'm not going to settle for, I did everything I could possibly do and I can't do no more. I wouldn't let it end like that.
We gotta have a talk about your voice memos, though, E. They are better than the text, I must admit. But two things: one, stop telling me who you are on your voice text. All right, I know it's you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's like, C, what up? It's E.T.
I want all clarity.
I'm well aware of who it is.
I want all clarity. I don't want you to be like, I thought that was Carl. Yeah, I thought that was, because Diddy will say, Carl, he just jumped straight into the conversation.
Oh, no,
he didn't say who it was, so we're going to go all the way with it.
Here's the thing. Then you leave like 4 minutes, and like, if somebody call or click in, I don't think it's a way to go back to where you were in the message.
Oh, no, you
so I got to try to listen to it from the top. So then, like, I got to go all the way back. Like, you leave an 8-minute message, I get 6.5 minutes in and I get to the punchline. Somebody call my phone, I go back. I can't just skip. Like, it's no skip. So
that's an Apple problem. Hey, y'all gonna have to call Apple for that one. That ain't on me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Apple, man. Do you hear your boy CJ crying out, Apple?
You know what I'm saying? Organifi, shout out to them, man, for being our sponsor today. You guys know the drill. Organifi is the superfood green juice powder that we all been rocking. They also got the red juice, the gold, the turmeric is crazy, right? If you have trouble sleeping and need that kind of relaxation at the end of the night, go ahead with that gold, man, that turmeric in there and all the other great ingredients. It puts you to sleep. He likes to drink that one warm, okay? Yeah. It's got like a little, what is it? Kind of tastes like a sweet potato pie almost.
Yeah. It's like got a vanilla. You do it with milk, E?
Yeah.
No milk.
Oh, you just throw still water?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know he's still vegan-ish, Carl. You can't just be, you could do eggs, but no milk. You know what I'm saying? It's vegan-ish.
I just don't do milk, bro. Milk is disgusting to me. I don't know.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
I can't stand milk. And milk can't stand me either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a hate relationship. But yeah, no, shout out to Organifi, man, for sponsoring the podcast, man. They have been incredible with us, man. And listen, man, do something good for yourself. And we got so many people, man, who are on the Organifi wave with us. Shout out to our BU family who are definitely on the Organifi wave heavy. Pop's back on the Organifi, killing it. And you should be too, man. So go to Organifi.com, ORGANIFI.com. Use the promo code SUCCESS. Get 20% off your first order. All right, try it out on us and get that that first order in and go to work, man. Get yourself healthy. And take yourself to that next level very easily. Take you 7 seconds to get all of those greens in one simple container. So real quick, man, we had I'd say an eventful, no, before we do that, let me say shout out to my man, the 6th man, Jordan, for sending me some, my man, hey, I got a shoe insider. Shout out to my man, Jordan, at BU, for sending me some LeBrons. I got some all-white LeBrons. I think they're the Soldiers. And I want to shout out Jordan for that, man. And I really do appreciate it.
The 6th man.
Saying? Nobody ever remembers the 2 man, but Jordan remembered it. So
he's the 6th man. He's the 6th man.
Can we find his Instagram? I want to be able to give his.
That's it, the 6th man.
Oh, okay. The 6th man. So, it's this the underscore 6th man underscore. The underscore 6th man underscore. So, I think he's got the plug on the sneakers. So, if you want some sneaks, go ahead and check them out. I'll post a pic of the LeBrons later on the S2S podcast page. Make sure you go follow us there. But shout out to Jordan. And then also, man, we had I guess what many are calling one of the most legendary podcasts in the world last week. Because of what took place on the plane. So I was sent a bunch of comments from Instagram, Facebook, etc. So I wanted to read a couple of them just to see, you know what I'm saying? Was E.T. fair or foul for ripping the ball away? All right, we're starting to make this podcast interactive. And you guys responded in a major way, probably with the most traction we've ever seen from a post. So we wanted to bring some of that back, all right? So we got mostly fair saying he was fair for ripping the ball away. And so I just wanted to read a couple of those. Somebody said, fair all day. I would have definitely stuffed that lady in the overhead compartment like a carry-on. Somebody said, fair. He definitely wanted the ball as bad as he wanted to breathe. Somebody said, somebody said foul. Somebody said, in her defense, E, you do have to pass the rock to the corner. She was open.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? She was like you ball hogging. Let's see. Somebody said, E, that was foul. You could have just hit her with a crossover. You ain't had to throw her down. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, as the saying goes, you can take the doctor out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the doctor. Somebody said, where was E.T.'s insider? He was actually on vacation in the Dominican Republic, and E's first time flying without an insider. You see why he needs an insider now.
There it is.
Let me see. Is there anything else? Somebody said, boy, they don't treat those Delta Diamond Medallion members the way they used to. Man. All right. Real quick, fair or foul. I thought I'd throw this out there. You know what I'm saying? Just to see where we at, because it involves a family member. So of course we had a barbecue over here. So you know how it is. You just got trash for that. I don't know what it is about trash, but like whether we're here for 2 days or 100 straight days, the trash is full to the max every time. So anyway, we ran out of trash bags, and Jalen was over here, and I had him go to the store. We needed some salt. And we needed trash bags. So I was like, Bug, I need salt, trash bags. So I had the empty trash bag thing right there. And he was like, which ones? I was like, the tall kitchen. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you get the tall kitchen. And you know me, I had the Glad boys. You know what I'm saying? I held them up. I'm like, yo, need these and these. He's like, all right, bet. I'm like, here, let me give you some money. He's like, don't worry about it, I got it. So he came back, and I'm very particular about my trash bag. Mind you, Jalen been living with us for about 2 years now. He been at the house every day for a while. Now, not as much at the new house with Lil Father, but he knows the deal. So he goes and uses his own money, which I applaud him for, but he brings me back the great value trash bags. Fair or foul that the Hip Hop Preacher Jr. is bringing me back the trash bags where you throw one paper towel roll in there and pick it up and it fall right through the bottom. Fair or foul?
I know all about that. Rondell used to do that. I had to tell Rondell to stop buying me stuff because what I realized was Rondell had to buy with his budget. You feel me? So he buying me
from
stuff.
His paradigm.
Yeah, he buying me stuff from his budget.
That's why I say it's foul, because I offered to give him some loot. Like, here, let me give you the little $10.
But no, he thought he was doing something, though. He thought, you know what I'm saying? It was like, he felt like, yo, here go my opportunity to do something. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's fair, but I'm just saying I feel it. He like, man, I finally can do something. You know what I'm saying? I can get these. I can afford these. But yeah. Still not. Yeah, Rondell does me like that. I'm like, Rondell, why did you buy me them cheap? I had some like chandeliers or like, you know, covers for my lights in the kitchen. And them jokers I'm talking about. I'm like, this is the cheapest thing Lowe's got. But I'm like, yo, that's his budget. He ain't about to cash out. I left him too, though, see, because I didn't want him to feel bad. So I left him up there for years.
Hey, I just thought the Hip Hop Preacher Jr. probably would have known better than to bring me the great values. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But apparently not. So somebody said, all right, let's go to Ask ET real quick. Somebody said, ET, what was the first thing? This was from Black Bear Grills. Oh, okay. What was the first thing you realized you had to sacrifice in order to be successful, and how long did it take for you to wean yourself away?
Oh, so he's talking about a thing?
Yeah, like what did you have to give up, I guess, or what did you have to sacrifice?
I think like more me, it was like my character stuff. You know, like, you know, procrastinating. You know, I was a procrastinator, half doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think the problem with me too is I would half do something, but because I did it, I thought I was doing something. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I might put 70% into it, and I'm thinking, shoot, at least I put 70, and I start realizing, like, if you're not gonna do it right, it don't even make sense to do it, you know, because 70% is like not doing it, if that makes sense. So those are the first two things for me, just procrastinating. Like one day I might be on fire on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, I ain't do jack. Then Thursday, I'd study again. So I just realized like that was the biggest thing to me was like this whole concept of like going all in, like you got to go all in or don't do it at all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that was the first one for me.
All right. Somebody said, ET, what is your morning ritual? I think we covered that quite a bit.
Oh yeah, we covered that every podcast.
Yeah.
That's an old podcast. See, they just need to listen to an old podcast.
Somebody said this was a weird question. Serena is dope and is the GOAT, but is Venus average? I mean, I don't understand how she could be when they were trained by the same father. Venus is far from average, my man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She probably would be the best.
They were going head to head.
She probably would be the best if it wasn't for Serena.
It's 20 years, bro. They're still dominating. They're still meeting each other. Like which other sibling? You know, they're meeting each other in the doggone semifinals every other.
And they won Carl the doubles, though. They won the doubles for 15 years in a row.
Somebody said, Mr. S4G said, when's the time CJ had to show his gorilla with ET?
Oh, every other day.
I was like, what? Was that a trick question? You know what I'm saying? That's a trick question. E, have you ever considered collaborating with Eminem?
No, I've never considered collaborating with Eminem. I don't really do the collaborations. That's CJ. So I just try to stay fired up so he can, you know what I'm saying? He can keep me on the squad. So I don't do the collaboration stuff.
I know you guys have worked with some major companies, universities, or any other organizations you want to work with that you haven't had a chance to yet?
I would say Chick-fil-A, but we just started a relationship with Chick-fil-A, so that's that. I've always wanted to work with Chick-fil-A.
Hey, we gotta do something with Delta. I'm talking about we with Delta so long. Oh, for real?
I gave that up.
Yeah, we've been with Delta so long. It's just like, man, like it just feel like it would be a perfect
Delta better
match.
hurry up and come up off the relationship and show us some love because we've been born into Delta for quite some time.
Years now.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to start doing Southwest Airlines.
Right. Somebody, this D1 Legacy said, how do I improve my work? I want to go 120 and not just settle for 80%. What's the keys to identifying how my millennial definition of hard work might be negatively affecting my success? I think he's referring to the millennial episode we had where we dogged out the millennials and they thought 80 was 120.
Right. I guess that's it. Here's my deal. If you're a millennial, there's nothing wrong with, you know what I'm saying, what you do. But let's just say if you work for a baby boomer or a Generation Xer, like you can't make millennial work or how you do what you do the end and all, be all. Like you really do have to find out, well, what does work mean to a baby boomer if that's my boss? Or what does work mean to a Generation, X? And I think what millennials do wrong is that they live in their own reality as if there's no other reality. And so to them, because they feel like they're doing X, Y, and Z, their reality is real to them. But you work in the context of other people, and you need to find out when you're dealing with them what success looks like as well, and then use that to measure, your growth or whatever. So nothing against millennials, but you're not the only person or you're not the only group in the earth by yourself.
Amen. That's all I got. What's the rest of the week look like for y'all, man? Talk to the people.
I got Syracuse tomorrow, and then we got Philly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, that's this weekend. Yeah,
that's the live podcast, right?
Yeah. The next podcast is live. Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about. Oh yes, I'm coming with the whole fam too, so I'm excited about that. Well, the whole squad will be in the building, and a live podcast is what, Friday night, Carl, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then the pop-up shop is what, all day?
Before that, it's 4 to 6. It's actually just 2 hours. So y'all, I think they schedule it right around the time y'all can get off work. If you're working, get up there. So 4 to 6, get in, have some fun. Come check the podcast out.
Do we have the address to that? Can we find the address to that and say it? Because I know a lot of our podcast folks may not have the address. What are we talking about on the podcast Friday?
Hold on.
I don't know. It's live. It's new. I don't know. Maybe we just do a bunch of questions or something since it's live.
4141 Ridge Avenue. That's the address to the pop-up shop.
Ridge Avenue?
Yep, Ridge Avenue.
Okay, so if y'all in Philly or anywhere around there, man, you want to come. Is that the pop-up shop and the podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
Come check us out, man, the podcast. We're going to start doing live versions of these. Shout out to Q Deezy and Lamont out there in Philly, our crew. Matter of fact, E, when do you get in? Because Q wanted you to get on the radio show Friday morning.
Friday morning.
What time?
Like late Friday, like 11-ish,
late morning, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you missed the radio show. But shout out to Q and Lamont. And everybody out there in Philly rocking with us, man. You want to come out and see the live podcast? Come check us out. And what else we got going on? E, tell us about BU. What you got going on with BU? You cooking up some new stuff right now, man. How's the program been?
Oh, yeah, program is fire. We're doing coaching with ET on Sundays. I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're liking the changing of the new format. And then I've got a course that's coming out the first week of the new year, January 1st. So guys, look forward to that, where I'm just going to be really taking a little bit more time to break some concepts down. Of course, you hear the mixtapes, you hear the YouTube series, you hear TGIM, things of that nature. And even with some of the old BU stuff, I was behind the green screen, but now I'm getting back in the classroom and, getting back to my first love.
Right, exactly. Carl, tell us about the new courses and the stuff you got going on. I know we're getting close to launching some challenges and some other stuff.
Yes, sir. Yep, we'll sneak it out now. People are already asking in BU, like, when we doing are we doing the 100-day challenge again? Yep, so we're doing it this year, guys. We'll start on September 24th, I believe is the date. And the reason we're choosing September 24th is that's exactly 100 days before the start of 2019. And we want you to go into 2019 with momentum. We don't want you to start off the year trying to figure it out. You know, everybody go into the year, you know, eating terrible and all that. And now you got to make all these New Year's resolutions. No, you're going into the year with your resolutions. We're going to be doing 100 days straight of, I'm talking about, we added branding to it this year. We did a couple different themes last year, but we added branding. We got CJ going to be dropping some content. Josh going to be doing some of the business content. Hey, we are having the one and only Inky Johnson join ET on the personal development side of stuff, so they'll be giving you content. I'm telling y'all, we coming with it. Then he talked about just not being the same. We did it last year, you know, that was our first year. We kind of got a nice flow with it, but this year we want to do it better. I'm just gonna lead this one. I'm not gonna name drop much more. Just know stuff is coming. Jamal gonna be dropping some content. So all y'all that heard us talk about, you know what I'm saying, all the real estate and investing, we got Jamal and Rob gonna be working on the finance and investing side. So y'all definitely look out for it. It'll be a week that you can register. The 16th to the 23rd is when we'll open it up for registration, and then we'll literally start the 100 days on the 24th. So y'all stand by for that one. You do not, I'm telling you right now, 100 days straight, you do not want to miss this. It'll be content that you do not. We just talked about all the information. It's coming to you in the way that you need it, from the people that you need it. You ain't got no excuses after this. You're getting everything that you need to make them changes, man. So 2019 about to be, if you thought 2018 was something, we about to run into 2019 like I'm talking about busting it open. So yeah, look out for that, y'all.
And also New York, December 2nd. Right? That's New York?
Yeah. We still don't have that on the site yet. Wow.
Yeah, getting a lot of requests for the speaker training program, Game Changers. You want to join us in Game Changers? We have another meetup coming soon, so do that ASAP if you want to learn how to become a professional speaker and get paid to become a professional speaker. Our next meetup, I believe, is September 22nd, so maybe like 3 weeks from now. So let us know if you want to get involved in that. We would love to have you. Other than that, Phenomenal Life Jamaica. We still have some tickets available for that, man. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Jamaica and hanging out with the crew, doing some live podcasts, having some fun, growing, and doing the midnight basement twerk with Carl. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it.
Carl give us the midnight love twerk. That's it for me, I believe. Anything I'm missing?
Nope, that's it.
E, anything you want to bless us with before the nugget of the day?
Yeah, ready to get that nugget of the day in,
all right,
man.
Listen, man, go to iTunes, leave us the review, and let us keep climbing these charts with y'all. And that's it for me. I appreciate y'all for listening. E, go and take us out of here with that nugget of the day.
Hey, man, let me tell y'all, for real, it's a lot of problems, right? A lot of challenges that you feel like you're facing, and, it's just frustrating you. But here's the deal. You got two options. You can whine and cry about it, and what you're actually doing when you do that is you are depleting yourself of the energy and the strength that you need to come up with an amazing solution for it that's going to take you to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So I'm being real. There are some amazing solutions, and that's why we get on this podcast every single week. Like, we're not getting on here to hear ourselves talk. And you can compare us to some of the other podcasts. Like, you know what our intent is. You know what we're trying to do. So I'm telling you, if you're listening, you can continue to say, well, this ain't right and this ain't right. But every time you do it, all you're doing is taking the resources that you could be using, whether it be human resources, whether it be, solutions and strategies and skills to actually live that life you want to live, or you can complain and just be on that hamster wheel of life and going in circles. So really, at the end of the day, no human is greater than the other. All men are created equal. You have the power, you really do, to live your best life, right? So again, remember, don't sabotage yourself. You feel me? Don't sabotage yourself. Don't sabotage your future. Don't sabotage your best life. Find a solution for it. I promise you there's one. I promise you there's one. Find a solution. Use the solution and get on the other side of the challenges that you're facing, man.
Appreciate that nugget of the day, man. Love y'all. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with